everybody, this is Roxy, Fire Wife Lawyer Mom, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my 8th graders curriculum for the 2025-2026 school year. So stay tuned. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you have been a subscriber. I love videos that talk about curriculum because it gives us so many ideas as homeschoolers as to what other people are doing, what's new out there. And so I'm really excited to share with you what curriculum we're going to be doing. If you guys didn't know, this is my 6th year homeschooling, and I really feel that at this point I have had enough years under my belt where I'm pretty confident in being able to choose curriculum that is going to be effective for my children, because I've at this point learned their learning styles, what they like, what kind of curriculum works for them and helps them in their learning. And so for my 8th grader this year, obviously I have never homeschooled an 8th grader. She is in her last year of middle school, which is kind of unnerving for me because, you know, it's going by so fast. And so for this 8th grade year, one of the things that was a priority for me when choosing curriculum is I wanted to see if she could start taking on some high school type of classes, some high school level classes, because I feel that she's at the point in her independence as far as her learning that she can handle a little bit higher level learning. And so what better way to kind of try this out than in 8th grade year? Now, I don't want to overwhelm her. A lot of times I feel that we as homeschoolers, when our children get into the 8th and 9th grade, we kind of like want to just like get them on this fast track to preparing for college and to getting their high school credits and doing dual enrollment and all of that. And I am super excited about the possibilities of doing that, but I don't want it to come with the cost of putting extra pressure on my student, making sure that she is doing things that are at her level and that she's not stressed out about. I am kind of the idea where, yes, I would love my daughter to do dual enrollment, but I kind of evaluate things as we go and see what would work best for her and for her family. So definitely that's something that I keep in mind. Another thing that's important is my daughter's a competitive dancer. So she just started actually this year in a new dance studio, and so we're really excited about that. And with that, she's going to be, we have a little bit of a longer drive to and from her dance practice, and we pretty much do all of our extracurriculars after 2 o'clock. And so when I'm choosing curriculum, I wanna make sure that it's something that she'll be able to manage throughout the morning time and in the early afternoon, so that she could be able to be done with all of her work by the time she has to go to dance practice, because she dances pretty late at night since she's now getting older. So those are the kinds of things that I think about when I'm choosing curriculum. So for this year, we're going to be tackling a few high school credit classes, and I will be sharing that with you when I flip the camera around. I will tell you whether it is a high school credit or not. And so this year, I'm gonna start to be tracking her grades and tracking her, you know, the classes that she's taking, and I'm gonna share all of that in the videos to come. So I'm really excited about this kind of new chapter in homeschooling, where we're kind of in that stage where we're getting ready for the next you know, adventure of her homeschooling journey, which includes the high school years. And so this is kind of a little bit of a transition year where we're kind of figuring out what is going to be the right fit for her going forward as far as what her goals are by the time she graduates from our homeschool. Having said all of that, I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what we've picked for this year for 8th grade. All right, everybody, so here is a little overview of what we are going to be doing for 8th grade this year. Now, don't mind all of the boxes. We just moved a few weeks ago, and so we are still in the process of organizing our homeschool space, which I am going to be sharing all of that on my channel, so get excited for that. But I wanted to kind of give you a little overview of all the books that she's going to be doing. I am missing one, which is IEW. We are going to be doing Structure and Style Year 2 Level C. I will show it to you guys here. That we have been doing IEW for, you know, since she started homeschooling, and we absolutely love it. It is a high school course, a high school level course, so she will be getting a high school credit for IEW this year for her writing. So let's start over here. She is going to be doing a bunch of reading. So she is required to read an assigned reading every month. She will write a literary analysis on the book. I kind of give her a little rubric, and so she will write a paper on the books that she reads. Now for this year, my focus is on the founding fathers and important figures of U.S. history. I'm just going to share with you today what she's going to be reading for the month of August and September, because August, obviously, we start in the second half of August, so she will have until the end of September to read this one. And then I'm going to do a separate video on all of my reading selections for both of my children. Each of them have to read one book per month, and so I'm going to be sharing that in a separate video so I don't have to make this too long. But she's going to be starting with this book from, it's actually a book study by The Good and the Beautiful. It is a book on Abraham Lincoln, and she will be doing the book study that goes along with it. This, I believe, is part of the language arts curriculum for The Good and the Beautiful, and so I just chose to get the book study, and we just got this one because I wanted to try it out. I've never done the book studies from The Good and the Beautiful. If you have and you like it, leave a comment below because I would love to hear what your thoughts and reviews are for that. So she's going to be starting by doing some reading, and then every morning, as you guys know, I like my children to spend a little bit of time reflecting. Time with God is so important for our family, and so I found this wonderful devotional. We are a Catholic family, and so I found this devotional. It's called A Catholic Devotional for Discovering Who We Are in God, and it's really cool because you get to answer some really important questions that I feel that kids at this age kind of need to start thinking about: where I belong, who I am, why I am safe, what I can do. So it's really nice to kind of center yourself in the morning in God and with purpose. And so this is a wonderful devotional where she will read a passage, and then she will have some Bible verses to look at, and then she'll be able to complete the questions from the devotional. So I thought this was really nice for her to have a little bit of time with God before she starts her day. Now, for history, we are going to be going with the same curriculum we had last year, World History and Geography. Now, this course is actually a high school level course, and this year she's going to be getting a high school level credit for this course because it is really, really awesome. As you guys know, and if you've seen my previous curriculum videos, I love McGraw-Hill because it's straight up history. There's no, fluff. It is just, this is what happened from a very objective point of view, and I really love this curriculum because it just goes deep into history. It goes through all of the different ancient civilizations. It's very colorful. It has different activities and questions to answer and some essay ideas and things like that. Now, I'm really sorry for the light coming in. We just had a rainstorm, and then, of course, the sun is peeking through right when I'm doing this. But anyway, we are going to be using World History and Geography from McGraw-Hill. Now, this is not in print anymore. And so if you do buy it on Amazon, you will pay a little bit more because of the fact that it's not in print, but I will be using it for both of my children. So for me, it's going to be worth it. And again, I will link everything that I'm using in the description box below so that you can have access to it as well. Okay, so for religion, we do catechesis, we do religion. As you guys know, I teach two subjects to my children. I teach religion and I teach history, and for the most part, the other subjects they do independently. But for again, we are a Catholic family, so for religion and catechesis, we will be going with what we've always been doing since we started Homeschool, the Faith and Life series, level 8, our life in the church, and it goes through all of our church history, and it's a wonderful curriculum. I really love the way that it's laid out. So that's for religion. And then for grammar, we're going to be continuing on with Fix-It Grammar. We're going to be doing level 5 this year, the Frog Prince. And so we love IEW's Fix-It Grammar. It is my favorite for them to be able to get that skill of editing and revising. Obviously, once they go into college, they're going to have to be revising their own papers. And so this is great practice for that. Now, for her Now this is something that we're kind of adding on. We also do a morning meeting every morning, and so that is where I will teach the subjects that I am teaching my children. And so during our morning meeting this year, I'm going to be adding in this read aloud. It's called World Religion and Cults, and it talks about different religions in the world and how they should be looked at from a Christian worldview. So what should we think about them as Christians? How should we defend our faith? How are they different from Christianity and from our beliefs? And so I wanted to give it a try because I feel that as homeschoolers, we do need to prepare our children for the real world. Once they go into college, they will be meeting people of all different types of walks of life. And so I feel that getting them prepared and solidified in their Christian faith is so important. And that's why I want to start to have those conversations with her this year. Now, for our logic, we're going to be also trying something new. We're going to be doing this together during our morning meeting as well, every day. And the first one we're going to be doing is the fallacy detective, 38 lessons on how to recognize bad reasoning. And then we are going to be going through the introduction to logic course. So I have heard, this is from Masterbooks, and I have heard really great things about introduction to logic. And I'm really excited to try this curriculum. I really feel that it's important that we prepare and equip our children to make logical arguments, to think logically. And so I think this is going to be a great introduction to that. And again, this is also a high school level course, so I'm going to be doing that with her as well. Now for science, we're also going to be trying a new curriculum for science. As you guys know, I usually use BJU for science, but it was becoming too cumbersome for us as far as finishing out the curriculum. And so I really liked Apologia's approach to teaching children about note-taking. And so I have a few friends that use Apologia, and I'm really excited to try it myself. They all love it. So let me know what you think about Apologia, because we're really excited to try it. She's going to be doing the Exploring Creation with Physical Science. Again, this is also a high school credit course. We're not going to be doing the lab kit that goes with that because I kind of didn't want to overwhelm her with that. So we did choose the video option where she can watch the labs online and then, make her observations regarding that. For her math this year, we are going to be, again, continuing on with our tried and true Saxon math 8-7. Now, we started 8-7 last year, and as you guys know, if you've seen my previous videos, you know that we had to abruptly end our homeschool year unexpectedly. We had a death in the family, and so we were not able to finish the Saxon Math 8-7. And as you guys know, in typical homeschool fashion, I do not put pressure on ourselves to get curriculum finished by the end of the year. Usually math is the exception to that, but again, we did have that situation, so we are going to finish. We have about 10 lessons left of Saxon 8-7, and then once we are done with that, we're going to go into algebra half, and that is basically a pre-algebra class. I didn't feel at the time when I was choosing curriculum, I did not feel that my daughter was ready to go right into algebra, so I want to be able to solidify the pre-algebra concepts and her 8th grade and 8th grade year concepts, just to have that little extra practice, and then we will start with algebra next year. Again, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on myself or on my child to be on this super fast track. I like to go at her own pace. So we're going to be doing that this year. And then for her, this is kind of an extension to grammar. We're going to be doing vocabulary virtuoso. So this is kind of like a PSAT, SAT prep type of vocabulary book. We have always done vocabulary every year. I think except for like 1 year we didn't do it, but we typically do vocabulary practice every year. But I liked this workbook specifically because it focuses on words that you will find on the SAT and the PSAT. So what better opportunity than in 8th grade to actually start to have some exposure to those types of words. And so it's basically kind of like any other typical vocabulary book. You get, your list of words, and then you have to practice the definitions in different types of ways with different activities. So we're excited about using that. Now, for her electives, which is the last thing I'm going to talk about today, is we're going to be doing 3 different electives this year. And they're basically through unit studies. And so last year, we started with the U.S. Constitution and Government from the Good and the Beautiful. We did not finish the unit study, and so we're going to be finishing it. We have about like 15 lessons left to do here. Now, this is actually a high school level course, so I am going to be giving her a high school credit for this because it is a pretty comprehensive U.S. Constitution and Government. And as you guys know, firewife, lawyer mom, I am an attorney, and so I really know this curriculum well as far as, you know, the Constitution and the laws. And I really feel that it is at that high school level. And so I am going to be giving her a credit for that. So we're going to start by finishing this. And then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to be doing a personal finance course with Campfire Curriculum. So Campfire Curriculums has a course that they call, I think it's called Financial Stewardship. And so I really believe that it's important to begin to teach our children these money skills. Now, she did have a basic economics class kind of like in 4th or 5th grade where I kind of showed her a little bit about money and saving and things like that. But the financial stewardship from Campfire Curriculums is a little bit more of a deeper dive to match their age level. And so this year we're hoping to get her a bank account and a debit card so that she could be able to manage her money and start learning those life skills. And then the last thing for our elective we're going to do is the maturation and sexual reproduction unit study from the Good and the Beautiful. Now, I bought this years ago and we already had these kinds of conversations. However, I wanted to have a little bit of a refresher and kind of go through structured curriculum as opposed to just having those conversations. So we're going to be doing that to round out her electives for the school year. That is it. Those are all of the curriculum choices for 8th grade this year. All right, everybody, so that's it. Those are the picks for 8th grade for 2025-2026. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you have an 8th grader and you've got some new curriculum that you're trying out, definitely leave in the comments below what you're doing. I always love to be inspired by this great YouTube community. Make sure to stay subscribed to my channel because I will be sharing next what we're going to be doing for our family subjects and our morning basket. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
And I ain't playing no games, baby, you won't change. I only want you. I wanna kiss you before the